President's appearance comes as the president's crypto empire is emerging as a money monster, with a new deal in the works to potentially raise over $2 billion. 60% of people believe crypto's value will increase under President Trump, with almost 50% saying Trump will help boost crypto's presence here in the U.S. On the other hand, Democrats are targeting Trump's growing crypto portfolio, calling his recent private crypto dinner with investors corruption. So for more insight, I'd like to welcome in Declan Harty, capital markets reporter for Politico. Declan, thank you so much for your time today. Before we talk about Trump and his family's ties to crypto, just talk a bit about how this current administration's focus on crypto is such a stark change from what we've ever seen under any previous administrations.
That's right. So under the Biden administration, we saw a very hostile regulatory environment for crypto firms, many of which regulators at the SEC would allege were violating investor protection laws. These are the same rules that govern stock and bond trading in the United States. And they were arguing that a lot of these firms are structured in a dangerous way for investors. And what we saw on the campaign trail last year was President Trump clearly delineate a different tone toward this industry. He was going to be friendlier, and he's followed through so far. We've seen the SEC pull back on its enforcement against this industry, while the White House has rolled out a series of different crypto-friendly proposals. And really, it's a sea change, to your point, from what we've seen in past years. All
right, so I want to talk about that, Declan. Talk about the president's creation of that strategic Bitcoin reserve, and then also, rolling back some of those SEC enforcement tactics. What do those moves actually mean?
So the Bitcoin reserve itself is really about allowing the United States government to hold Bitcoin that it currently has and has acquired over the years from criminal seizures or other law enforcement events. And so the idea is essentially this administration, many of its top leaders, including the vice president, are very big, and the president himself are very big believers in crypto, and that the price of these tokens will appreciate over time, and that the U.S. government should hold on and benefit from that. On the law enforcement SEC side, this is a really market change that we've seen. And what we're seeing is the agency is essentially saying now that the past 4 years we've been trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and trying to apply these decades-old rules from stocks and bonds onto crypto, and maybe we need to reset and draw up a new set of rules. And so that has been the premise behind the SEC pulling back on its law enforcement of this industry. That said, it's obviously spurred a lot of concerns from Democrats and watchdog groups.
I do want to talk about the concerns, but before we talk about any criticism, just yesterday, the parent company of Truth Social, the Trump Media and Technology Group, said that it would raise $2.5 billion from institutional investors to invest in Bitcoin. Again, before we talk about the criticism, just talk about the potential implications of that.
So on its face, I mean, it's a pivot for Trump Media. This is obviously, as you mentioned, it's the parent company of Truth Social. This is how they make most of their money, is advertising on social media. So in doing this, they're clearly moving in a new direction, which is toward finance and crypto. From the broader market perspective, this clearly deepens the president's ties to this industry. He's had several ventures, and several of his family members are involved in different crypto ventures. And this is one of the more notable instances that we've seen a Trump-affiliated entity getting into crypto itself.
All right, Declan, we're going to talk criticism now. We know, as you just mentioned there, President Trump himself, his family, many in the administration have very heavy ties to crypto. We just saw that crypto dinner a few nights ago. Many Democrats are crying foul. What can you tell us from your reporting?
So the concern here is ultimately multifaceted. On one end, because of the way crypto operates, there's a concern about the opacity into some of these dinners or these events, and who's actually dealing with the president. And in case of this dinner last week, one of the big criticisms was there was a concern about who was going to be going to this dinner. Were these going to be foreign actors or corporate interests looking to influence the president in one way, shape, or form? On another side of this, what we're seeing here is really kind of unprecedented, in that the president and his family and their partners are profiting from an industry that he himself is in charge of developing new rules for. And he's clearly got an appetite for it, and he's been moving in that direction. So it's creating for a lot of critics a very uncomfortable situation at the end of the day.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.